all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack. To use the COVID-19 crisis as a timely opportunity to reflect on the lessons the cybersecurity community can draw and improve our preparedness for a potential cyber pandemic.
Okay, so we're living in a really strange time right now where reality is mirroring movies that are being put out by, people like Barack Obama and his wife, Michelle Obama. And it's also mirroring trailers like the movie Civil War. And then we're seeing crazy things about this eclipse where everyone's being warned to gather up food and cash and change all their plans and everything else because of an eclipse. I don't understand any of this whatsoever at all. I've been watching the sky since I was 9 years old, which means I've been watching the sky for over 40 years, and I've never heard of such a thing. But you got to take the warnings as you get them. So in this video, even though I've been sick for the last week and I haven't really had any place to do any editing, I'm putting together this video to show you what to do in case we get quote-unquote hacked or the sun or the eclipse somehow knocks out power, internet, and everything else all over the country. And if it doesn't happen, it's better to be prepared and not need it than need it and not be prepared. So here we go. All the links will be in the description box below. Use them or don't. Your call. The first thing I'm going to cover in this video is making power, making electricity. So here we go. And today, once again, we're in my kitchen. And you're looking at a whole bunch of different electronic devices that I've used over the years. And specifically, solar panels. I love solar panels. I have a lot of things that run on batteries. So over the years, and I'm talking the last 12 years, I've tried every type of solar panel possibly made, and I basically settled on off-grid Trek because Renee makes these things for the military to military specifications, and these things work amazingly. I've got this 24-watt unit. I've also got a 200-watt solar blanket in my truck you've probably seen before. And like I said, I've had every type of solar panel there is. That's a Renogy 100-watt folding glass solar panel. And then this is a 200-watt Merlin solar panel. This is big money. And solar's amazing because I make videos. I live out of my 97 Land Cruiser. I have laptops, batteries, flashlights, cameras, refrigerators, all sorts of things I need to keep charged. And solar is the way to go. But solar doesn't work when there's no sun. For instance, I live in New England. I got off the road November 7th, and I've probably seen the sun. Today is December 11th. I've probably seen the sun maybe twice. We have solar lights going around my house, and they don't come on at night because there's no sun to charge them. So solar panels are amazing. They're great. If there's no power, the power goes out, you've got solar. But if you don't have any sun, what do? Okay, so here we go. There's a ton of different ways to store energy once you get it from the sun or whatever method you're using. Goal Zero has been around forever, and they make a variety of different types of energy storage devices. You fill this with electricity, you save it for a rainy day. They make them so that you can literally just set your cell phone on top of it and it'll charge. It comes with Thunderbolt charge outlets as well as USB chargers. They've even got versions like this one right here that has your standard USB It has your standard Thunderbolt, but then it's also got an actual wall plug built into it. Now this doesn't last all that long. This will give you a decent charge on your laptop or some other device. It'll charge your cell phone several times, blah, blah, blah. Good to go. Now, one that I'm incredibly fond of, and I don't even know if you can get these anymore. This particular unit is made by a company called Zero Lemon, and I've had this for years and years and years. It takes about 6 to 7 hours to charge this off of a wall plug. But this thing will charge lights, cell phones, anything that you can charge off USB, this thing will charge it, and they never seem to die. But sadly, they're difficult to get. After making this video, I found a link where you can actually pick these up for 42 bucks. So I'll leave that link below. These are well worth it. And it also comes with its own built-in solar panel as well as a light on the back. Now I'll leave links to everything here if you're so inclined to want to pick them up or whatever. But the methods for saving electricity once you generate it are endless. I have a larger unit like this in my truck. It's a lithium power pack made by EcoFlow. I like EcoFlow a hell of a lot better than Goal Zero, but I happen to have this little unit, so it is what it is. This is the unit that I have in my truck. This thing charges incredibly fast, and it lasts for days, powering my laptops. And my laptops are energy-consuming Razer Blade Pro 17s, so this thing works. This company, Lion Energy, used to work with a company called Humless. Humless made lithium power packs, and I had them back in the day, but they never seemed to work. They always seemed to have an issue, blah, blah, blah. But Lion Energy offers power packs like this. It's got a wall plug built into it, an AC plug. It's also got USBs on the side and a charging port for a 12-volt plug. Like this guy right here. You see what I'm saying? So again, methods to store electricity once you've generated it are pretty much endless. All of these will take a charge from solar, which is phenomenal. All of these things I use. This I don't really use. It sits in my drone Pelican case as a backup to charge my drones if I so need them. These, I use these constantly. Absolutely constantly, and I've never worn them down. Goal Zeros are good, but they don't seem to put out as much energy as EcoFlow does. It is what it is. So check this out. There's also other ways to have power when there's no sun, there's no electricity, the grid's down, whatever. You can get these things from a company called, my glasses on, Charge Tab. And it's an emergency cell phone charger. This little sealed pouch will give you, allegedly, 1,500 milliamps, enough to charge your cell phone once or twice. And then there's another edition made by a company called BioLite, and it's this little, it looks like something you might want to sneak into prison the way it's shaped. But this is just basically an 18650 battery inside an indestructible tube with a USB outlet and a micro USB inlet. Tons of ways to store electricity once you've created it. And as you can see, I mean, this is how this wasn't set up for this video. This is how my island looks anyway. Goal Zero, 500 amp hour batteries, 18650s, Surefires. We live in a world where everything runs on batteries, and what I do, I need batteries for everything you're watching right now. You see what I'm saying? So, years and years ago, I got this from a company called Sherpa, and you can see it's been well loved. You see what I'm saying? And it's a flashlight. And it's not a very bright flashlight, but what I loved about this was, you see all those hand crank ones you can get online. The emergency flashlight, I guess this doesn't shut off. The emergency flashlights or the emergency radio, well, the hand crank on them sucks. This, Sherpa, has an amazing hand crank. But all it does is power this really weak flashlight. And the company that makes this is called FreePlay. Trying to find anything from them is next to impossible. But this is called a DC dynamo charger. This creates a DC current, a direct current. and then you can transform it into an alternating current, which is what I do. Now this is pretty much good for nothing except making this really dim flashlight work. But again, I've had it for years. I used to make bug out bags. I'd always include one because it's perpetual. You've always got juice. So there is that. But years ago, when I was in the military, we had these bad boys for powering comms, communications, radios. Now this is a serious dynamo. You can get these on Amazon or wherever, and they're about 169 bucks. And they come with all the connections you possibly need. And after researching all the different types of handheld dynamos available, this was the best one that I could find. And when it arrived, I was pleasantly surprised at how well built this particular item is. So there's that. With this hand crank, as long as you crank it, you can produce energy. You can sit here for hours and hours and hours and charge any one of these things all the way to full. It's just a matter of putting the energy into it, no pun intended. But these things, this is made by Vivor, I believe. Again, I'll leave a link. It was about $169. It comes with everything you need. You can adjust how much energy comes out of it for the device that you're using. But this is an incredibly well-built unit, and it's small. This is very small. I mean, this is the size of a good-sized pack of cigarettes, if people still use those. But this will create electricity that will charge this, and even this. This will actually charge a regular vehicle battery. It's just a matter of how long you're going to sit there and crank this handle, but it will do that. I'm telling you that because I've done that. It takes a long time, but it's doable. And when you've got no other option, there you go. Years ago, a company named K-Tor came out with this, and it was called the Pocket Socket. It still is called the Pocket Socket. Now, the company K-Tor is still around. They're still creating human-powered generators. They've got the pedal version, the hand crank version, and you can make these on your own, but these are already pre-made, ready to go, and they come with everything you need in the box already. And I have no affiliation. So before I show you how these pre-made K-Tor energy producing devices operate, I'm going to show you a bunch of links where you can get these much heavier duty units, but they're from China and they take a long time, and who knows how well they're made or not made. And I'm also going to leave you links on how to make your own generator using a bicycle. It's incredibly easy to do if you've got the time. Some of them require a little bit of welding, some of them don't require any welding. You can bolt it all together, etc. But there's lots of ways to produce energy when A, you have no electricity, B, you have no solar, or C, the grid's down completely. Department of Homeland Security every single year, twice, issues a warning about an EMP attack or an EMP from the sun or something to that effect. So having one of these is smart. It's not being paranoid. It's not being a quote-unquote prepper. But the variety of ways you can make your own power generating unit are pretty much endless. What I'm going to show you in the video are units that you can get that are already pre-made, so you don't have to go through it, or maybe you don't have the tools or the time to do it. If I had more time and I wasn't working on my vehicle constantly, perpetually, I would have built one of these. So I'm going to show you what I've got to make energy today. Okay, so check this out. This pocket socket can easily charge any of these guys. Any of these. So let's start with the tough one right here. This has a wall wart, a power pack with it, and it takes a pretty, this is made for a wall outlet. Now check this out. I need to turn this so I can see it too, but this isn't the best feeling, but this will absolutely, without a doubt, charge this. It's just a matter of you sitting here. Now you could fasten this, you could clamp this to a table to make it much more stable. and just keep turning it, and it will absolutely do its job. Now, this is an old version. I've had this for probably 10 years. The one that they sell now, KTOR, I'll leave links, no affiliation, I'll leave links to them. The one they sell now no longer has the outlet. It's just a USB outlet or a 12 volt, one of the two. I don't remember. I'll figure it out and I'll let you know. But I'll tell you what, I've had this for a long time. I've carried this for a long time. It's not awesome, but it will without a doubt charge this, a truck battery, or even the EcoFlow big boy I got in my truck. I forget the exact nomenclature on it. This cost about $70 if memory serves, and it works really well. This is $160. They do the same job. This does not have an outlet. This does. But this has a much better feel to it. But this is pretty much military grade. It's just got a better feel to it, and that's all. No big deal. So I'm not putting KTOR down or anything like that. This, in a pinch, you just plug right in. No fooling around, no two ways about it. This will charge all of these. This will charge all of these. But KTOR also made this bad Larry. Now there's a bunch of different versions of hand crank, handmade dynamos that you can make yourself. But believe it or not, for me it's just easier because I got enough going on in my life. I'm building enough things, just constantly maintaining my vehicle and everything else that I do. You see what I'm saying? So if somebody's already got this built for me, so much the better. But I will leave links below so you can go to channels where you can take an alternator and build your own setup like this. Now, once again, years ago when this first came out, I don't know what the deal is. This is made by the same company. This used to have an outlet on it. It no longer does. It now has a 12 volt socket on it. And they supply you with this. So you can just plug right in. You can take these two, positive and negative, put them on a battery, which in turn can charge everything else. Or you can take this guy, which they also supply, plug it right into the 12 volt, and charge your, I don't like how that feels. This is a cheap one, but I mean, where are you going to get a well-made unit like this? Everything is Hensho in China, except for this, I believe. You plug this in. Now this is something, this is something you're supposed to sit down and pedal. Right off the bat, it's making 14. Now, I wouldn't pedal this necessarily, but you can. You can fasten this to the floor, you could put a nail through it, fasten it someplace, and just sit there and pedal till your heart's content. And this creates enough juice where you can quickly charge one of these, a truck battery, or you can hook an inverter straight up to this. A 12 volt inverter with plugs in it, plug things in and charge all sorts of things, because this does feel good. This feels just like this military version, and they're made by the same company. This might feel a little weak because I've had it for so long, but it might not feel weak to you. I don't know.
So out of total curiosity, I hooked up the KTOR PowerBox 50 to straight up to a 700 watt pure wave sine inverter, and I wanted to see if it could power this thing, which means all three green lights will come on. If it created enough power to actually drive this thing without a 12 volt battery in between. And as you can see by the lights, if you crank it enough, it does it. So this right now is producing straight up electricity out of that inverter with no battery involved at all. That's not how you do it, but I wanted to see. Now this is how you do it. You take a 12 volt battery, you hook up to the KTOR box or any of the generators. You take the red and the black leads that they come with, you hook it up to the positive and negative on the battery, and then you take a cable from the positive and the negative and you run it to an inverter. Now you have the battery storing any electricity you're creating with the KTOR, and it's providing constant, steady power to the inverter. And voila, viola, you've got electricity. Any one of the units that I showed you, the small units that have a hand crank, will power up this battery. The one that I'm showing you now will power it up the most efficiently. And again, you can make any type of variation of this off of the veritable cornucopia of how-to videos and diagrams available on the internet, which I will link below. If I had more time and I wasn't fixing my vehicle for another road trip, hopefully, I would have made one. But again, time was not on my side. But that, in a nutshell, is some of the ways that if you've got no solar, if you've got no power, these things will save your butt, because you can, without a doubt, create DC voltage, which you can turn into AC voltage, direct current to alternating current, and you're good to go. This little guy is not very expensive at all. They're on Amazon, or you can buy them directly from KTOR's website, which I'll leave links below. Again, no affiliation. I've carried this for years. They work really well. These I highly recommend because this is very, very portable, but this is good for your homestead, etc. And again, you can make your own version of this with a broke down bicycle, an alternator, and a little bit of skills. Or you can get it pre-packaged. It comes in the box. Everything you need is already in there, and it's good to go. I've been home since early November. I've seen the sun twice. Every single day. It's not like New England, it's like England. If you don't have any electricity, if you don't have any solar, your solar panels are useless. I've got a solar panel permanently affixed to the top of my truck. It's great as long as there's juice or sun. So these are some methods, and these are really good to have because it's energy that is stored, and when you need it, you've got it. For so very many different reasons. These right here can be a lifesaver. This is a very small unit. I've just got it in. I don't even know why I even have this. I have no idea how I even got it, to be perfectly honest with you, but there it is. That'll charge a laptop, maybe twice. I'm not exactly sure. But the unit that I have in my truck will keep my Razor Blade Pro 17s, which are monsters for editing, but they eat battery like you read about, which is why I have a separate lithium power pack in my truck, simply to charge my laptops when I'm on the road, because they eat so much juice. They'll kill my batteries while I'm parked overnight. So that's how I get around it. But these are some incredibly smart things to have. If I was going to pick one, if you are not mobile, this is the one to have in your house, because this will create a large amount of electricity. You can pedal or you can hand crank it. If you're mobile, this is definitely the one to go, because this thing is a beast. $169. It took a little bit to get here, but it definitely works well. They give you everything you need to hook it up to pretty much everything you'd ever need to hook it up to. It's incredibly well constructed. They claim that it's waterproof, and it's got a band right here so that you can actually strap it to your hand, so it's, you know, it's sturdy. But long story longer, trying to keep this video short. Solar is amazing. 12 volt is our lives. I mean, look at the batteries. Are you kidding me? All of this stuff is great with solar, unless you've got no sun. Having one of these backups is not only smart, it could absolutely, without a doubt, save your life.
So I'm going to leave links for everything I just showed in that video, and you can get them, and I would recommend getting them quickly if you can. But here's the other thing. This next segment of the video is going to be about EMP proofing your gear. Now, there's a company called Off Grid Trek that I have no affiliation with, but I know the owner, and he makes the best solar and EMP protection you can possibly buy as a civilian, period. His name's Renee. He lives in Canada, and he will get it to your doorway in 2 days or 3 days. He's phenomenal to work with. He's incredibly knowledgeable, and he's worked with the military, which is how he ended up in this business in the first place. Highly recommend using him. Links to him will be below. And what I'm going to show you in this next segment is exactly one of his products. It's an EMP-proof bag. I happen to know somebody that owns a company called Off Grid Trek, and this guy has the credentials and has done the research and development, making his own Faraday bags, making his own solar panels that are the best a civilian can possibly buy. I had an opportunity to meet him once at an Overland Expo in Virginia, and I stay in touch with him, and I own many of his products. And you're going to want to see this, because if you prepare overland or just live on this earth right now, protecting what you have, especially preparations for power outages, is paramount. And with this setup, you'll be able to do that. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to show you the website. I'll leave links to it below. But Rene lives in Canada. He is an ex-military dude with communications, etc., under his belt. And he went and had these solar panels built to his specifications. He carries all the best solar generators. I happen to have one of those top units up there right now. And he's been in magazines, all the biggest YouTube channels like my buddy Mike from Last Line of Defense. Everyone's reviewed his gear, and it is second to none. Now, it's expensive, but here's the deal. Unlike the other solar panels I've used over the years, these don't degrade over the years. You leave these things laying in the sun kills things, period. So solar panels usually only last 2-3 years. My off-grid Trek panel has performed exactly as well as it did the first time as it did the last time. They cost money because it costs money to make them. These are paramount. These are second to none. These are the best you can get as a civilian, period. And I want you to hear the credentials this guy has. And I want you to see the Faraday bag that he's has constructed. These things are amazing, and they work. And he's tested them ad nauseum to make sure that they work, unlike other companies. I can say that as a fact. What made you do this? What made you say, I have to make a better solar blanket than everybody else?
Long story short, I'm ex-military myself, ex-telecommunications. Okay. When I got out, I actually contracted to a satellite-based company out of Canada, and we were actually supplying SATCOMs to militaries worldwide, NGOs, three-letter entities in the U.S., and I always remember years ago seeing a picture. It was I don't think the company's around anymore, but it was kind of like a solar blanket. But there's a picture of a Marine on a sat phone on a donkey with this draped over, and I always thought, I can do that better. That's basically where it came from.
I know exactly who you're talking about, and those are incredibly expensive. You can still get them.
Yeah.
They're still on eBay used, and they're incredibly expensive. Thing is, this is a brand I've never seen solar cells like this before. Did you design these yourself?
These are my design. I went through several manufacturers till I found one that could do exactly what I was wanting. These are basically the newest solar cells that you can get. They're the SunPower Gen 3 solar cells, and the biggest thing about our product is they're 23.8% efficiency rating, and that's the most important number to know, and most manufacturers won't tell you that, because most of the product that is on the market is on average 12 to 15%, because that's the best profit margin. That's where they make the most money.
Right.
Yeah.
I looked at you chose to use Anderson connectors. You chose to use solar charge controllers instead of the little crappy one that comes with all of them that kind of gives you a little bit of power. And just on a small side note, this foldable panel is closed, and Renee just pointed out that it's actually still making power. It's not even open.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Like, I just put really, really high-end solar panels on the top of my AluCap. These are the ones that you stick them up there, they stay there for 5 years, then you rip them down. And they work well, but I had never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
How did you get these from what you were thinking about into actually making them into production?
It was about a year process, went through several manufacturers, like even the solar charge controllers, I tested over 30 of them. I know it's over 30, that's just the number I remember.
So, long story short, he's gone through exhaustive testing, research, and development, and it worked. And I can attest to that, and everyone that owns Off-Grid Trek can attest to that. So, I'm going to leave you links to his YouTube channel as well as his Instagram, because he's up in Canada, and as Americans, it's always good to have a contact in other countries just to see what's going on. But let's listen to him in his own words explain this Faraday bag that he's developed, because it's amazing.
Rennie here with Off-Grid Trek. With these interesting times, I know I've had a lot of people asking about our Faraday bags, so I just kind of wanted to go over those. This is what they are when they're not being used. You can see how small and lightweight it is. This will actually hold 126 liters. I believe that's about 30 gallons. I might be off on that a little bit, but it gives you an idea. This is it when it's actually, this is an example. What I'm going to show you is everything that I normally have in it for myself, and it'll kind of give you an idea based on what could work for you and might not work for you based on your own scenario. First and foremost, internally what we use is 3 layers of the shielding for EMP, so that basically it offers complete protection for all of your electronics inside. And for those of you that don't know, EMP is basically, it's an electromagnetic pulse. And what that's caused by, it could be something as simple as a solar flare, or it could be because of nuclear. So this will protect any of your devices inside if there is an EMP. So what we use is, on the outside is a military grade fabric, which gives it a lot of durability. And then we do use some very heavy duty Velcro as well too. What that does is it allows for no airflow whatsoever. If you have airflow going in and out, that means signal is going to go in and out, and there is a chance that you're going to damage the electronics inside. So as an example, right on the front, we have 2 layers. So 2 layers right here. On the outside, on the sides, we also have another layer right here. To me, it was just smart to do that. It's a little more effort to open and close it, but it gives you peace of mind that everything is going to be kept safe in there. So go ahead, take a look inside. This gives you an example of everything, and I'll pull it all out, and I'll give you some ideas, just basically what we use ourselves. So first and foremost, it's always good to have a multimeter. So I always have a multimeter in there. And by the way, everything I'm going to be pulling out will charge from our solar blankets as well too, because if there is an EMP strike, if there is something along that lines, unfortunately gas stations, unless you're able to siphon manually, you're not going to be able to get gas to run your generator. You're going to have to rely on electronics to be powered from solar. So here's 2 of the headlamps that we use that power from solar. 2 of our flashlights that we use. That one actually turned itself on.
So you get the idea. These bags hold an incredible amount of equipment, and that actually has been tested ad nauseum to make sure that these do exactly as they're designed to do. Rene has gone through more research and development, more money out of his pocket than anybody else that I've met that's designed a product that's already existing. It is a better product. Off-Grid Trek makes the best solar panels and gear you can possibly get, period. And I have no monetary affiliation with him or anyone else. That's how I can give you honest reviews, period. So there, as they say, is that. And the beauty of his Faraday bag is it folds down flat. I have one behind my seat, but it opens up enormous and can literally hold every piece of electronics, solar gear, everything in my truck in this one bag. But when I don't need it, it's folded out of the way. Also, if you're interested in this stuff and you want to learn more, he teaches on his YouTube channel, and he also writes a phenomenal blog, especially on the Faraday bag, right on his website. So I'll leave links to all of those below. And you should use them because we are in some crazy times right now, at any rate. So there's 2 main things. How to make electricity to actually live, and then how to protect this in case of a hack or an EMP or anything like that. Something that's going to knock out the power completely. If you paid attention to military, Department of Defense, Pentagon write-ups over the last several years, they've been warning you to do this. This isn't crazy conspiracy theory. This is being a grown-up and understanding the times that we're in right now. But if you can't afford these things, here's some other solutions that you can do yourself. There's plenty of links that I'm going to leave where you can learn how to build your own Faraday cage, how to plan for suddenly living in a world with no power, internet, automobiles, supermarkets, etc. Because everything in our system is literally tied together. It is indeed a worldwide web. And if the United States' power grid goes down, or if we get hacked like so many experts have warned us about, we're in for a world of shit. Straight up. So use these links. I don't have time to make a 50-minute video. Like I said, I had a cold for the last week, and I didn't have the ability to actually do any editing because I lost some of my gear in a recent robbery of my truck last month. So I'm doing the best that I can here, but I'm going to leave you links for absolutely everything. You've been warned about this. Better to be prepared and not need it than need it and not be prepared. Good luck. Godspeed. Richie from Boston, Jailbreak Overlander. I'm out.